Hi, thank you for clicking on the video, and I hope everyone is doing really well. When you struggle with an eating disorder, I think we can all agree that grocery shopping is stressful, especially when you are trying to recover. I don't know how many times I used to just go to the store and just wander around, and I could be there for 1 hour, 2 hours just walking around, and I would leave without buying anything, and I would just have panic attacks, and I would just stop and stare at a shelf, not knowing what to do, what to grab, what to buy, what I should eat that day. And it would get so bad that I just had to leave, get out of there, get outside, and be able to breathe again. And I would just walk out with nothing. Grocery stores can be extremely overwhelming, and the whole concept of grocery shopping is really hard for a lot of people who struggle with an eating disorder. I think why it's so hard is because at the back of our mind, we know that whatever it is we buy, we have to eat that. This is true for me, and I think it might be true for a lot of people, but I think that there is a subconscious fear of picking the wrong thing. And I believe that stems from our desire and our strive for perfection. For a long time, I felt like I couldn't spend money on myself. I couldn't spend money on my health because I felt like I didn't deserve good things. And that meant I didn't deserve to be taken care of. I didn't deserve to be taken care of by myself. And spending money is already very difficult for me. You never want to go to a grocery store without a plan. I think planning is an incredible tool, and it is completely necessary when you are trying to recover, especially if you are hoping to eat well and eat healthily. Planning helps at least one aspect of recovery go a little more smoothly and make it a little less difficult. The technique that I'm going to teach you today is something that I've been doing for a very long time, and it just helps me to stay organized and take away a little bit of the stress of having to go into a grocery store, and it helps make it a little less overwhelming. I used to go into a grocery store with the mindset of I'm going to buy what I think I want. Unfortunately, that led to me leaving empty-handed or just buying random things or just buying junk food. So this technique, while it looks like it has a lot of steps to it, it actually is quite simple, and it just takes away a little bit of the stress of grocery shopping. It makes it a little bit easier, and the more you implement this technique, the more you create a pattern, and the more you create a pattern, the easier grocery shopping gets. The short version of this technique is basically you are going to write a grocery list. However, there is a little bit more to the technique than just writing out a grocery list. Before you even figure out what you want to cook, before you even start grocery shopping, I highly recommend go to the grocery store that you are planning on doing your shopping at. And the reason why is you're just going to get an idea of what this store has to offer, what this store is all about. You're going to get acquainted with the layout and the products and what's on each aisle, and you're going to do your best to commit it to memory as best you can, just to have a little bit of an idea ahead of time. There is nothing more frustrating or overwhelming than to be in a grocery store and not be able to find what you are looking for. And if you're like me, you hate asking for help. So this going there ahead of time just kind of takes away that fear and that worry of having to search things out, because at least for me, when you have to search and search and search, eventually I just give up. I'm like, oh, I can't find it, so I'm just gonna leave. So once you have checked out the store, you are going to need a few materials, and what you're going to need is a planner, and I highly recommend get a big planner that has lots of space for each day. I don't know if you can see that. This is my planner. You probably can't quite see it. There we go. You can kind of see here. So every day has a nice space for lots of writing. You're also going to need some pads of paper, maybe a little bit bigger than this if you're going to be doing a big shopping trip. So pads of paper, and then of course you'll need a pen. Some optional materials are cookbooks, or if you are, part of 2018 and you realize cookbooks are totally obsolete and you can just go online and Google whatever it is you're looking to try and make, or if you like going on like Instagram to get inspired, feel free to follow me at Raven in Recovery on Instagram, because I'm always posting what I'm making and I don't mind sharing my recipes with you and to help you get inspired for what you're going to make. So by whatever means it is, whether it's online, Instagram, or cookbooks you can actually hold in your hand, the very, very first step is get inspired. Just start looking at recipes, looking at the pictures. I say a good cookbook always has good pictures, just to get inspired. And you don't have to actually make those recipes, just use it as ideas. And I see a picture, I'm like, that looks good, I want to make that. I look over the recipe, okay, it's got like things I don't like or things I don't want to cook with or things like that. And so I just start substituting and putting in what I want. So it's just get inspired, get excited to cook. So once you're fully inspired and you've got some ideas brewing in your brain, the next step is to plan your meals. That's where the planner with lots of space comes in handy. So what you're gonna do is initially, I would say if you're starting out in recovery and you're going to use this technique, maybe plan 2 to 3 days at a time, just so you're not overwhelming yourself and not putting a lot of pressure on yourself to come up with ideas for like a whole week at once or have to buy a million things at the grocery store. Keep it simple and start with maybe 2 to 3 days of planning, and then from there branch out and maybe do 3 to 4 days, and then eventually work your way up to a full week. So in your planner, under each day, you're going to break it down into how many meals you want to eat. So when you're planning your meals, be as detailed as possible. Write down every ingredient you will need for that dish, and that includes like spices, seasoning, all that, those things. Just write it down so it's on paper so you can really see it in front of you. And that's why you want a planner with lots and lots of space, because you're gonna be as detailed as possible. So once you've got your meal plans detailed and written out, you're going to go back through and you're going to in some way mark off the items that you already have. Then you're ready to actually write your grocery list of the things that you need. If you're planning on going to more than one store, have a different grocery list for each store. And each grocery list is going to consist of categories. So what you're going to do is you're going to break the list into categories, and the categories that I do are produce, non-perishable, frozen or cool section, and then other, and other is non-food items. I recommend writing the list in order of the sections of the store you're going to come to first, and that's why going to the store ahead of time and getting an idea of the layout helps. So I always go in the same entrance of my grocery store. There are 2 entrances, but I always go in the far one, and I always come in, and that's the like pharmacy side of the store. So I know that I'm always gonna write my non-food items first, because that's the first thing I'm going to come to in the grocery store. And then I know that I'm going to make my way around the outside of the grocery store, the outer wall almost, around to the produce section. That's going to be my second category. Then I'm going to make my way through the aisles, and I'm going to end with the cool and frozen section. So as you are writing down the items that you need, be sure to always write the quantity if you're going to be getting more than one of each item. So I always have like in parentheses next to the item, the quantity. That way, when you're in the store, in the moment, you know, I need 3 of these things, grab, 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 and you're good to go. You don't have to stand there and think, okay, what am I making? How many do I need? It's all written out. It's right there. You don't have to think about it. This next step is optional, but I love coupons. So once I have my lists written, I go through my coupon collection and I see if I have any that are relevant to the things I need to buy, and then I clip them to the corresponding list, and then I am basically good to go to the grocery store. So if you have followed all these steps, by the time you get to the grocery store, your grocery list is no longer just a list of things you need. It's a map for you to get through the grocery store, get through your grocery shopping without a hitch, without panic, without stress. Everything is written out and you know exactly where you're going. If you forget or you panic, it's all written right there. And you wrote it, so you know it to be true, and you know that it's going to help you, and you know that it's going to get you through safely. You don't have to wander. You don't have to overthink. You know which aisles you'll want to avoid. You'll know which aisles make you panic. You know which aisles have the things you need, and now you can just do it. You don't have to have anything to stress you out, to stop you, to prevent you from succeeding, nothing to prevent you from finishing the task. And when you make it to the end, honestly, you feel like you've achieved something because you've conquered your fear of grocery stores, your fear of grocery shopping, and that is something to celebrate. I know it's an everyday activity. It is something we have to do, especially if you are driven and ready to recover. It's something you just have to live with and be able to do. And so when you are able to do it, celebrate that. That is something to be celebrated. Anyway, I hope this video was enjoyable and helpful in some way. If it was, please give this video a thumbs up. For more videos about eating disorders, eating disorder recovery, diet, nutrition, all that good stuff, please subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!